of the best season of his career. Cavs All-Star Jared Allen has been sidelined indefinitely with a fractured middle finger. In the 55 games he's played, Allen is averaging 16 points, nearly 11 rebounds, and according to the team, he'll undergo treatment and further evaluation. Our NBA conversation continues ahead of this 8-game slate, with the race to the top of the Eastern Conference getting tighter and a head-to-head matchup between the second-place Sixers and fourth-place Bulls in Philly set to tip at 7. But the team leading the way by 3 games, by the way, will welcome the Rockets to town just after 7:30. So let's talk more about the Miami Heat with Ira Winderman. He covers the team for the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, we've heard rumors, we've seen reports, and now we've seen Victor Oladipo sweating on the court. You're calling it Depot Day?
It's Depot Day down here in South Florida. We have been waiting and waiting since, remember, he had that May quadriceps surgery, hasn't played since last April. Everyone has been wondering, as good as this Heat team has looked, what's waiting in the wings? Didn't make big moves at the trading deadline, but I'm not so sure that any of the team, Kristen, you spoke about at the top of the East, is going to get as much of a boost at this point than the Heat might from Victor Oladipo. Not overstating him as a James Harden, but working in this sort of ensemble team, Vic could really be a difference maker. Everyone here is excited tonight.
Also on the injury report, Kyle Lowry back in the lineup after missing the last 4 games for personal reasons. What, though, is the difference, Ira, when he's facilitating this offense?
I mean, you can see it. There's a reason in the offseason. They love Goran Dragic and what he did, but they wanted, as Zeke knows, a point guard. You either have the mentality or you don't. And Kyle has had some games this year. He scored 4, 6, 8 points, and it didn't matter. He makes this offense precise when they play in the half court, when he's doing his hit-aheads to Jimmy Butler. It's really been eye-opening. It's been a while down here in South Florida, maybe since Tim Hardaway. You can see how the point guard mentality is something that's innate. And that's what Kyle has delivered. This team has been lacking that. They get into the sets. They're crisp with him. He's a difference maker, and I think you'll see that tonight as well.
I'm glad you mentioned Jimmy Butler because I did not plan to ask you about him, but he's one of my favorite players and people. How much fun is it to cover him on this team?
I mean, Jimmy is what Jimmy is. So Jimmy sets the agenda. You just sit there and smile. So he'll tell you he hates half his teammates when you know he really loves him. But he plays such a perfect style. I mean, I think Zeke would agree with this. The marriage of Jimmy Butler and Miami Heat culture could not be better. There's a reason he wanted to get in here. He just fits. They let Jimmy be Jimmy. And as you know, whether it's Philadelphia or Chicago or Minnesota before, it's not so easy to let Jimmy be Jimmy. This has been a really good marriage between both Jimmy and the Heat.
There is a chance that we overuse the word culture when we refer to the way the Heat win games, but it seems to be the perfect fit. What is it that their consistency atop of this conference this season alone say about what's working so well in Miami?
I think it's the ensemble approach. I think a lot of other teams want to have their leading man, and I can't tell you from game to game. I have no idea who's going to lead the Heat in scoring tonight. I have no idea who's going to star off the bench. Is it going to be Gabe Vincent out of nowhere? Is it going to be Tyler Hero, the boy wonder? Is it going to be Max Strus loading up and hitting 6 threes? Is Victor Oladipo going to take over the bench? So while so many teams are lamenting COVID and injury and not being together, when we're going to get this guy, I love the approach from Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley. Screw it. Whoever we got, we're going to play to win, and they're all in this together. You know, I know camaraderie is overstated in this league, but you see it on this team. Stats mean so little. Victory means so much. That's the reason they're sitting on top of the East right now.
How would this Heat team then define a successful season this season?
I still think it all comes down to the playoffs. I mean, this team has gone deep before. This team is now built to get back to where the last year of the Big Three with LeBron and Bosh and Wade were. They expect nothing less than the Eastern Conference Finals, and I think they expect more. But as you look at the standings right there, it's all about matchups. Some teams are much more favorable matchups, not to condescend, but let's say you get Atlanta in the first round and Cleveland in the second and Chicago in the third. Those are great matchups for them. What if they get Brooklyn in the first? What if they wind up with Philadelphia in the second and Milwaukee in the third? This is going to be so much matchup oriented that I think, as well as the Heat have played, I think it's going to be a matter of teams versus teams, style versus styles. The Heat can play several styles, but I don't know if they have that one leading man like a Giannis, like an Embiid, like some of the other teams have. Jimmy wants to be that. I don't know if he's quite there yet. That's what I think makes it interesting. Can ensemble basketball, almost like those former Pistons of Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace and Rip Hamilton and Chauncey and Tayshaun. They didn't have a great individual leader. It worked. But you know what, Kristen? It's been a long time since ensemble basketball has gotten to the top of the NBA.
I'm so glad you brought up former Pistons teams. It's almost like you knew I was about to talk to Isaiah Thomas about everything you just said.
Oh, his championship team had stars. That was a little different. He was just trying to win ensemble.
Yeah, thank you again, Ira. You all can follow him in his Heat coverage at Ira Heat Beat. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me on Depot Day.
Of course.
Thank you, guys.
Have a blast. Zeke, do you think that the Heat hold on to the top of the Eastern Conference playing, as he's pointed out, ensemble basketball?
They really can. However, they're going to be challenged. They're going to be challenged by Milwaukee, who's coming on. And not only when you talk about ensemble basketball, they have a guy who's coming back tonight in Oladipo. And if he can get back to the level that he was before he got hurt, I mean, he's a guy that can get you 25, 26 a night, and he can be that guy in the playoffs that can really go off and really score buckets and get him at a major clip.
Whose minutes do you see him taking some of? How do you see him directly contributing to this Heat team?
That's the beautiful thing that we love about this Miami team, is that everyone has gotten paid, and everyone doesn't care about their minutes or their shots. They just want to win the basketball game. So whoever is playing well, as Ira said, on any given night, that's what makes them dangerous. Anyone can step up and get buckets and get numbers, and then they flow to that guy. That's how we played in Detroit. If Vinny got hot, it was like, okay, we're playing through Vinny. If Joe got hot, we're playing through Joe. If Aguirre got hot, we're playing through Aguirre. Didn't play through much through Sally and Rodman.
I hope they're watching. It's also kind of like me and you and Candace on a Monday night, right?
Yeah, but I never get hot. It's just, we just always playing through you and Candace.
Well, we do what works.
Yes.
Candace,
and
we miss you.
I play my role.
We can't wait to see you.
I play my role.
You do.
I am the bench player.
You do it
I'm
well.
coming off the bench. Candace is leading us to the championship.
Oh, yeah.
And you're the point guard. Let me know when I need to be Bill Laimbeer.
You know what? Tonight.
Okay. I'm playing my role. No, but that's what's great about Miami.
Yeah.
They all understand their roles. They play their role. And when he talked about Kyle Lowry, right? Lowry being the point guard, the one thing he said, he gives it up quick. He pushes it ahead. That's what point guards do, who are not looking to pad their stats.
How valuable do you think that one seed would be to the Heat, or will this Eastern Conference all come down to matchups?
It's going to come down to matchups, and you want the one seed, but if Brooklyn's the 8th seed, do you really want the one seed?
How bad do you want that? Right.
Yeah, nobody's really looking forward to playing Kyrie, Durant, Simmons, Patty Mills, Curry. Nobody's looking forward to playing those guys, right?
Knowing that even if you win the Eastern Conference, you still may not have home court advantage for the NBA Finals.
Yes.
Based on how well the teams are playing out west.
Yeah. And the good thing about Miami in these teams in the East, they do play well on the road. They can go out on the road and win one basketball game. And in the playoff series, all you really need to do to protect home court is win one basketball game. However, out on the road, you got to win one game out on the road. However, most teams in the playoffs, they're good enough to come back and beat you in their building. So you really do have to win 2 games in the opponent's building to become a champion.
Well, and South Beach can win you one, right?
South Beach, yeah, it can win you one. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. As we see a lot of players go to South Beach and they just all of a sudden have back injuries. Or
especially on like that Sunday at noon.
Yeah, can't play.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
All right, we're going to look to the Western Conference after the break with John Morant running